And yes, sir. Here we go. If you ain't Squarebody, you ain't nobody. What's up, Mr. Alternator Belt?
What's up? Zombie apocalypse vehicle right here.
Oh, so Chris discovered this morning that his alternator belt decided to delete itself.
Gone.
It made how many miles up here? 6 or 8 miles?
Yeah.
6 or 8 miles with no alternator.
Didn't miss a beat. Started it 3 times.
Okay, so 79. Tell them about it, Chris. What are we working with?
79 GMC Sierra Grande. Step side. Love
Step
step
side.
Everyone's asked me if I wanted to do fleet side. I actually like the hips.
You know, they got a lot of shape to them. It's got a real muscle truck look. And you don't see them that often. You don't see GMCs that often, and you don't see step sides that often. So this one we found at a little local auction and had a froze up motor, hadn't ran since, what was the last tag on it?
81 or 82, I think.
Yeah, it'd been a long time since it'd been on the road. And it's really neat because you'll see it had some kind of like pinstriping kit. I don't know if this was a dealer add-on thing. A lot of it's still here. You see where the rusted around the pinstripes on a lot of it. This was really cool. I don't know if that was a GMC thing or a dealer thing or what. So this was a local truck come out from actually still got the dealer tag on it and emblem on the back, red Cruise. So this was a 305 turbo 350, right?
Yep.
But we see what the major problem is, right?
It's a little high off the ground.
A little high off the ground. We got a little fear of heights around here. So we got to fix that, right?
Always.
So what are we gonna do?
Lower it. Look at that.
With everything to lower it. Because Chris is too cheap to buy it. And Chris decided to get rid of a Mustang he had. And I was like, well, what's a better down payment than everything it takes to lower his truck?
That's awesome.
So he thought he was coming over here just to film something on his truck. And actually, we're going to work on it. And we're going to make it a lot cooler. So here's a good before. Now we get to work. So this is my tried and true kit. I've put this little combination of parts on so many of these square bodies and it works out really, really well. Start off with the McGaughy's, McGaughy's. These guys right here, we'll use their 2.5-inch drop spindles. The reason we use the 2.5 and not the 3, I'll move these guys out of the way. There's a part number somewhere. Here we go. So 73 to 87 drop spindles. 1.25 inch heavy duty rotors. Very important. Always get the heavy duty rotor stuff because they're better. Don't be like Andrew. Get the better stuff to start with. Precision coil springs. These are the heavy duty or big block springs. There's your part number there. What we do here, I found I don't like any of the aftermarket drop springs. I've tried CPP. I've tried Beltec, I've tried all the springs. I don't like the way they ride. I like the way a big block spring that you've trimmed down a little bit to get your perfect ride height. I like the way they ride, and I've noticed that every aftermarket spring, whether it says 2-inch, 3-inch, whatever, they all vary. On my grandpa's truck, I had 3 different 2-inch drop springs, and they were all different heights. So you get these, you trim them to your application, you're good to go. We got some shocks, that's self-explanatory. Ball joint, self-explanatory. Here we've got the flip kit from Street Edge. This is I think they call this the 6-inch flip kit. There's your part number. And should open these up already, but here's the shock relocators for the rear. So everything we need to lower a square body. Excited?
Let's do it.
Let's get to work. All right, today we're starting in the back because that's what I felt like. First things first, these guys right here, bump stops, they gotta go. They gotta go. We don't need bump stops where we're going. So a lot of different ways to take these off. Obviously we've got rivets, 2 on each side, or 2 in the front, 2 in the rear, I should say. You could come in here with a flat disc, and you could just grind them off and chisel them. You could drill them out. You could take a cutoff wheel and X them and then chisel them. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. Big fan of the flame wrench, and that's what we're going to use today. You've seen me use it several times on the channel. Super simple. Give you a quick little rundown of this guy again. You have your oxygen and your settling, your rough adjustments, fine adjustment here. So always make sure your oxygen is open here, closed here, right? Then you can crack your acetylene. Take your striker. Give it one of those guys. And you can see it has a little bit of a, you can turn it down so it makes it more dramatic. Got a little bit of a black smoke. Just want to tune that up till the black smoke goes away. And then you want to turn your fine oxygen on until the little bright blue points are nice and sharp. And don't forget your hood, because it will make you blind.
I got hit. Man down.
Like that. All right, once you have the heads of the rivets off, no matter how you do it, flap attack, whatever, we come in with the air chisel. These things are cheap. These things are less than $20 at Harbor Freight. Comes with some chisels, I think. Invest in one. If you have any kind of air compressor, just get you one of these. You can do it with a hammer, but this makes your life so much simpler. You just come in, you just chisel her loose. Voila, she gone. Now you can come up here with these things, these leftover rivets, and you can use the chisel to punch them back out, or you can grind them off or whatever, but just got to get rid of those so you know you don't get a little dose of tetanus down the road. So first things first, get the shocks out of the way. On these trucks, the bottom is a 3-bolt and the top is a stud. Yeah, so these I think are actually the original. So look how it's got the spiral wind up the shaft here. So most of the ones you get aftermarket come with a stud, right, with a nut on the end, but this one still has the broached over washer. So these are probably the original shocks.
I would not doubt it.
They don't shock anymore.
Gotta wait.
All right, so there's a lot of different ways, theories, practices in doing this. Obviously this is a flip kit, right? So the axle is currently under the spring pack, and we're gonna flip it to on top. Part of the bracketry we got, we'll show you that in a second. But everyone does this different. I've seen people take their rear shackles loose, pull the rear end out, slide it back over on top of them. I've seen people like pull the rear end out and try to feed it through the gap. That's too much work. What I like to do is we'll take everything loose. We have the rear end supported here on a trans jack. Now you can do this on the floor with just a floor jack here and some jack stands or whatever you have. So just support everything here. Then we're gonna pull the leaf springs out, raise the rear end up, and then reinstall the leaf springs with the flip kit. It's the simplest way I found to do it. So, start by getting all this old crusty stuff off of here. Sometimes it takes a little more persuasion. We're not gonna reuse these, so we could totally cut them off, but I don't know, this is what we end up doing. A little heat on it. There we go, don't touch that one. See how nice it is that torches?
I don't want to hear it. I just be out there with my Bic lighter.
I totally put this on your Christmas list.
She showed me.
She showed you the Christmas list?
Yeah, she showed me the Christmas list. It was a good list. I got a lot of good stuff this year.
So do you know what GM's justification was, or at least what I heard?
For the bolts?
For the bolts, why they're all different sizes.
Wow.
So you only have to have one set of tools. That's why one bolt and one nut is two different sizes, so you only have one set of wrenches to take it loose.
I hate how that actually makes sense. It still makes me still makes me angry.
Every time. Chris called me this morning. He said, hey, do you think I can make it to your shop with no alternator built?
Better bring a spare battery.
You made it all the way here with no alternator built.
Yeah.
And I started it 3 times.
Dang, you're living life on the edge.
Hey man, this is my zombie apocalypse vehicle.
Yeah, we're
You don't even need an alternator.
Well, when the belts are like $2, you should just have a spare in the truck.
Well, now that I know that.
They're $7.
Oh, 7. I'm sorry. Inflation will get you. We're in a recession.
All right, so now we got the springs out, as you can see. Super simple. 2 bolts. All right, now we go up.
Keep going?
Yeah, sure. Can you see? Down, sideways. Boom.
Do I need to listen to this?
Maybe, yeah. Or talk to it real nice. Whisper sweet nothings in its ear.
Oh, that's close.
Whoa. No, you might have to loosen it.
All right.
All right. Sometimes you can get away with just taking this bolt out. You really should loosen this one as well. This is weird doing it with extra set of hands. Well, extra set and a half. Andrew's up in front.
Oh!
That's what you get for talking shit.
We good?
It's been a minute since I've mechanicked. I'm probably gonna lose a finger today.
Probably. As long as it's one of the ones Brantley likes. There we go. And now we can put the new parts in. All right, so we set the leaf springs back up into place. Just put the bolts in the holes to get everything kind of squared away here. Now we have our flip kit. A couple different ones. You can see this one where it rests on the spring, has a little bit of a lip. This is what they call the 6-inch kit. The other one is a little bit shorter. I don't know where they get an extra inch out of this, but it is what it is. You'll also notice it has an offset hole in the bottom. The hole goes to the front, and it will just, and the hole here goes around the leaf spring tie bolt. So you just slide that guy up into place. Something like that. Drop you a couple U-bolts. Like that. You have your lower perch. Once again, hole in the front. And you'll notice on the bottom, right here, it also has the bottom side of the tie bolt, and that's kind of your locating pin. Get your washers, and you already know I'm a weirdo about washers. Put the rounded side up, just because. So now that we got axle on, snugged up, start by putting the shocks and the shock relocators. One of the key parts of this, you can get lowered shocks for these things that are shorter and have a shorter stroke, but I mean, the longer stroke's better. Remember that. So we start off with the new studs that come with the new shocks, and these are just your standard Moreau part store things. They're nothing special. So put these guys in. All right, so shock relocator, super simple. Got a hole in the back. That's gonna be what your shorter supplied hardware is for. And the upper hole, your new hardware, goes through there. That'll go through there. And this will go. All right, so as men, we tend not to read instruction. And that tends to bite us in the butt from time to time. Actually, this bolt, this cross bolt that goes through the original shock hole, goes from this side. So I had to take the perch back loose, lift the rear end up, slide the bolt through. Either read the instructions or watch this video first. And then, so once you have this together, right now it's just loose, just bear with us. This will go, the shock will go in this hole here with the existing hardware, and then it'll slide on the new stud up top. So now you've essentially lowered the shock pickup point. So you can run a stock shock that if you ever had a problem, which you probably won't, but if you ever did, you can pick one of these up local, about anywhere you go. So slide everything together and yeah, keep moving. All right, so moving around to the front. Luckily, Andrew came in here and loosened everything up for us. And yeah, start ready to blow things apart. So we already got the shock bolts out. Get that guy out of our way. He took the nut almost all the way off, just enough to mess with him.
I Power Nationed you, you know? Like, you know, back in Power Nation when like Stacey David would be like taking apart trucks and everything was just always loose somehow. It was always coming apart easy.
Yeah, never saw him swing a hammer.
Yeah,
never double wrenched anything.
I'm telling you.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we'll use.
Yeah, everything should be right there.
That guy. It's almost all the way off.
I have to let you struggle a little bit.
Appreciate that. Keep me humble, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like I struggle all day, every day.
That's true. Good point.
See, we don't need those where we're going. All right, and these we can reuse these stock upper mounts because they're there and they're easy. Get that guy out of the way. Then you find us another zip tie.
No, you only got me the one. Whole shop, only one zip tie.
Well,
all these tools, one zip tie. Me, 4,000 zip ties.
No tools.
No tools. Well, technically a zip tie is a tool, so technically I have 4,000 tools.
4,000 with the same tool?
Exactly.
Alright, so that...
It's not going to work, I already know what you're trying.
You hold your mouth just right.
Yeah. You just kind of have to wedge it in there for now and then...
Yeah. Can't believe my My guy getting me ready over here didn't get this through.
I'm like the fluffer.
Here you go, fluff it up for me, big boy.
Oh yeah, weird how this works. I'll go ahead and loosen it for me, and then while you're at it, just go ahead and finish it off. I guess we're ready to, we can do tie rod, and then we can probably try and break these loose. These are already loose.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew's on his 3 bolts a day quota right now, so.
And I've already doubled that today, so it's looking like a good Saturday.
All right, tie rod.
Hey, well, one ball joint already came loose for us.
There we go.
Probably the upper.
Hopefully the lower doesn't fight us. I don't know why it would.
Why it would, yeah. Those are usually the easy ones.
Yes, those ones. Allegedly. Yeah, the upper came loose. Sweet. So when we got the spring tension on it, it's usually easier to go ahead and bust the ball joints loose. The top one came undone.
Notice how I'm letting him swing the hammer.
Yes, if you don't look at the bushings on the inners.
What bushings?
It's fine. Softer the bushing, the more comfortable the ride, right?
Yeah. Just a cruising model.
Oh, yeah. Luxury.
Luxury. Oh yeah.
So, one of the things we have to do, we gotta change these ball joints out because they've seen better days. So, got the Maddox ball joint service kit. Yeah, Harbor Freight Special, I think. So this just uses a series of different size cups and plates. You find the right combination, redo it 3 or 4 times, then you figure out how to push these things in and out.
I feel like I have to reteach myself how to do this every time I get that toolkit out.
Every time.
What goes where now?
That goes, oh, you go, oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, ESPN?
Yeah. This is what I don't like this.
Do what?
I don't like these because they always pop. Like a lot of times they'll let a crack out that'll like.
Oh, that.
Yeah. This one's coming out nice though. It's good.
Thanks for jinxing me for the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to have these, man, red hot before. Like, heat them up, torch them, all the tools glowing. And sometimes they just ease them out of there. All right, so for the springs, like we talked about, we're just gonna take these big block factory replacement springs and we're gonna give them the little trim off the top. So remember from the K5 video, the way we do this is for every inch you take off of the total height, you double that. So if you take 1 inch off of the total height, that's gonna give you 2 inches of drop. 2 inches off the total height, it's gonna give you 4 inches of drop. So don't go in here like Andrew and just start cutting rounds out of it, because next thing you know, you're gonna be dragging your cross member on the ground.
Yeah, cool.
So we come in here and we lay it, so this is the bottom, right? We got it upside down. and this is where we trim from. So we're gonna measure this. Looks like it's gonna be about 13 3/4. So what we do is we just look for the point. So that's 13 3/4 to the top of the round, right here at the point, right? So what we do is we just find the point in which it's 12 3/4, because we're going for 1 inch of drop. So that's gonna get us right about there. And you're looking for the top edge of the spring. You're right there. So let's give the spring a little haircut.
I wasn't even sure you could only cut 1 inch off. I thought you always had to cut more than that.
No.
Oh, so you guys play by different rules around here.
Sorry for being practical. I know you're not used to that. So now we got the spring trimmed up here. Let's put it all back together. So if you notice in the lower control arm, this pocket has a stop for the bottom edge of the spring. So where we cut it will rest right there.
Drop spring, he says.
And you take your handy dandy $500 flashlight. Make sure you set it in the pocket on the top. Yeah, that will do. Once that's in place, we get our spindle.
Get the brake caliper moved.
Oh yeah. So do we cut these reusable?
Yeah, I mean you do when you got money like that.
Alright, so
We just cut and
put that up there first. Something like that. And there we go. Snug those up, new cotter pins, transfer all the brakes over, front's done. All right, so just for reference, that's about where it was before.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. We're in business now. Oh, you got plenty of room. You got 3.
Hey, look at that stand.
Right there. How's the front look? Almost like we need to cut another coil out. Crazy. Woo. Yeah.
Yeah. That looks so much better.
Yeah, it does. Get it outside.
All right, so how many part-time mechanics does it take to lower a C10?
A lot. 3.
All right, so there we go. What do you think, Chris?
Oh, I love it. Night and day.
Big difference. Doesn't look so. I mean, it's a farm truck, but it looked awful farm before.
Yeah, now it's a cool farm truck. I'm gonna start wearing my wedding ring again.
Yeah, so you keep away all those 40-year-old men. When you're pressing with this. But yeah, I mean, doing that little walk around, you can see it's a huge difference. So, ended up being a 4.5, 6 drop, which makes it right on money level. Just have to take it to the alignment shop next week and get her lined up. But yeah, I mean, it's so much better than it was. This is how they should have came. This is what GM should have set them at. Obviously, I put the caps on upside down on that side. I got yelled at by 2 people on that. Couple footprints on the tire, but it's fine. We'll get it all cleaned up. So yeah, this is like the simple combination I found to use. I've put this kit on a dozen trucks, no problem. A couple things to note, like we talked about. 15-inch wheels, you have to run the 2.5-inch drop spindle, not the 3. And depending on the offset of the wheel may hit the lower control arm, just depending on which wheels you're running. figure that out when you're doing it. And yeah, you know, it's just a real simple way to make your truck look a lot cooler. And speaking of cooler, it'd be a lot cooler if you liked, shared, and subscribed, because we're doing well. The channel keeps going up and up, and more. We got a goal now. We're gonna bring at least 3 square bodies, at least 3,
Don't say March. Don't say March.
to the March C10 show.
Oh, come on. I'm good for Daytona. I don't know about March.
Oh yeah, he's got 3 weeks to get 2 days worth of work done.
You see the way my schedule works out.
If you quit messing with guns and knives and work on your truck.
Guns and knives don't hurt my feelings like this truck's do.
I don't know, that gun you just put together is probably pretty expensive.
We don't talk about that on camera.
Yeah, Bailey might actually watch this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get it cleaned up, lined up. Time to go cruise. So, until next time, see ya.
Later.